Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As with you always, this is, of course, Max, here to talk about the QNT, right? Not XRP, but we're going to talk about some QNT, some Stellar, obviously HBAR, okay? So very interesting things that happened today. But before we get into all the things about HBAR and quants and, your Stellars, I want you guys to keep in mind some of the crazy stuff that happened earlier. And I'm sure you've been paying attention to it. It is the fake out. It is the pump fake. It is basically what? It is this ETF hack, or whatever you want to call it. SEC has been compromised with their Twitter, their X, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get into some of the news about that. It's made headline news, mainstream news. All the top outlets are talking about it. You probably even seen it on your, on your television or whatever you use, right? Before we get into all that, just want to advise you guys to please smash the like if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys for being here. And yeah, let's welcome our wonderful community that is here tonight. Let's go ahead and put the branding on. Okay. All right, so we got quite a few of you guys here already. Appreciate that. So let's start off with the first comment of the day. It comes from Tim Shea, who sprays for far away, having everybody hit the DECK. Mayor of Crypto Commissioner in the House, Tim Shea, representing the 509th District of the XRP Army. Good to see you, Mr. Tim Shea. We also got Stargazer in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you, Stargazer. Appreciate you. Dennis Leal says, hello, everyone. It's Dennis Leal you're looking for. Lionel Richie. All right. SEC password is BlackRock is the boss #1. I would laugh if that was actually a real thing. I actually would. And I wouldn't put it, too far past the SEC if it was something like that, right? Brittany, happy birthday +1. She says, happy Tuesday. Yes. Happy Tuesday. Good to see you, Ms. Brittany. And we also got Gerald, who's back in the house. Good to see Gerald. The chimps, or whatever that is, just a regular monkey. I don't know. They're out. Good to see you, man. Glad to have you here, Gerald. All right. Brian Dowie's back. Good to see you again. Like, was that 2 or 3 days in a row, Brian? Right on. Right on. I'm sure you saw Mr. Rain the other night. Mud Butters Unite, right? Absolutely. All right, Marcus back. He said, BSV is Bitcoin. No ETF until Craig wins lawsuit. Wow. That's pretty bold. But you know what? You might be right. Yeah. All right. Crypto Holmes 777 is in the house. He says, hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good to see you 2 days in a row. And we also got Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk is in the house. A lot of you guys are in the house. Boom. River in the house. Boom. We got quite a few guys. So let's go further down. Stefan Eckel is in the house. Great looking avatar as usual. Hello to you. I believe you're all the way over in the Netherlands. Glad to have you back. Tim Shea says, Gary following orders. Retail gets wrecked. Mike Cornwell pointed out earlier. It was like 5-10 minutes. We literally saw PTC like shed $5,000 to $6,000 in 10 minutes. So can you imagine if you were the guy who, let's not go too crazy here, saying 200x, no. But, 2, 4, 10, 20x, right? Like on a MEXC or something like that. You went long. What about the guy who also shorted it? Yeah. Kind of crazy seeing some of that stuff going on, right? Terrell's back. What up, good peeps? Good to see you, Terrell. By the way, Terrell, I just want to thank you for all the nice things you said, DMs you sent over the break. It was much appreciated. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. You should have came here yesterday, Mr. Cool Cat. We were talking a lot about BSV. All right. I think that was yesterday. If it wasn't yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Anyway, something like that. Good to see you, Cool Cat. Crypto. All right. There might be a couple more to welcome. I think there is. We got Bo Rabbit is in the house. Nice looking truck, man. And yes, you're very welcome. All right. So what we're going to do now is read one more comment from Stefan Eckel. ETF wants really new fake news out. Yeah, next. That's true. We're going to get into this brief outline about the mainstream news, and then we'll get into some of the community-driven news here in a bit. I want to state this, though. I'll throw this out there. It's not a nothing burger. Spontaneous, not planned. I was going to do a different quant coverage tonight. Guys, this might take the cake of all of it. All of it. You want to stay tuned for the quant coverage tonight. Big bombshell announcement, thanks to the one and only Quant Papa, has to do with a patent. Yeah, a real exclusive patent. And guess what it lists? Mr. Gilbert Verdin. Gonna want to stay around for the quant coverage. Is this old? Oh, you pulled something out from 2 years ago. You're trying to do the Crypto Hulk thing. No, I'm not trying to do the Crypto Hulk thing. This is recent. This is literally like within the last day or so. How cool is that? Stay tuned for the quant coverage. You're not going to want to miss it. All right. Now, let's jump over to the overall crypto market for a second. And yeah, I mean, look what happened first. Nothing too major, but you know, I'm kind of shocked, right? Because earlier I was thinking, you know, the market's going to tank, something fierce about this whole, you know, crypto pump fake, but not so much, right? Not so much at all. All right, let's get into it. This is straight from CNBC. Don't shoot the messenger, just CNBC. What I like about this is only 3 minutes, kind of gets to the point. Are you caught up about this? Yeah, mainstream news, every outlet. You turn on your television. I'm sure at some point they're going to talk about this. So 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and play this. Again, thank you so much for being here. Let me put the right tab on, obviously. And let's listen to this. Here we go.
We have more breaking news on the Bitcoin ETF stuff. Kate Rooney has those details. Kate.
Morgan, a bit of a twist here. The ETF decision, the SEC now saying that its Twitter and X account has been compromised. It has not made a decision yet on that Bitcoin ETF. We have a statement here from an SEC spokesperson saying that the SEC Gov Twitter/X account has been compromised. The unauthorized tweet regarding Bitcoin ETFs was not made by the SEC or its staff. Gary Gensler putting out a similar statement, the chair of the SEC there. But again, it does appear the SEC's account has been compromised and has not yet made a decision on a Bitcoin ETF. It has affected prices here, Morgan, as you guys were talking about. And Bitcoin, at least for now, is still moving to the downside on that, what was potential news, but a compromised account there. And it appears the SEC's Twitter account has been hacked. That news, again, moving prices here. But back over to you guys.
But Gary Gensler's Twitter account, I suppose, has not been hacked so far as we know. The part to me that's weirdest about this, A, we're in a time when we expected the news to come through this account, but then we're hearing about the hack through the same platform where they apparently were hacked. Is there any kind of a press conference or statement outside of X that we can expect to hear on this?
So I should clarify, John, the statement that we got from the SEC was from an emailed SEC spokesperson here. So we have an emailed statement from the SEC clarifying what's going on Twitter and X. Although, again, Gary Gensler's account retweeting that and saying, putting out a similar statement that, yes, that account has been hacked. But taking things away from X and Twitter for a second, we do have an official statement from a verified SEC spokesperson here over email that says we have not made a decision yet.
Okay, and so I'm just going to reiterate it one more time. It would appear that X has been hacked, that the U.S. government, the SEC, has not been hacked,
Right.
which in of itself would have been quite interesting since the SEC is also regulating all of these cybersecurity issues and hacks for public or private sector as well right now. But bottom line, this is not true. We don't have this. Focus on the SEC website, perhaps, rather than some of the social media platforms.
Exactly. No word yet. And right, that it has been compromised. But again, as John mentioned, this was an afternoon in which we expected to potentially get some news around this, if not tomorrow. So it does come on a day when markets were very much pricing this in and expecting this news. So yeah, absolutely. The timing here is suspicious, but we'll wait for the official SEC email at least. And we're making some calls on this, but we'll keep you posted.
Okay. There's more to it than this, right? Let's take you over to CNBC for a brief moment. share that as well. So, not CNBC, I'm sorry, from CBS News, right? Kind of crazy to share some of the mainstream, right? But basically, yeah, let's pull this up. CBS News. Here it is. And yeah, come back into the frame. SEC hasn't approved Bitcoin ETFs, like it says. As the agency chief says, its X account was hacked. If you want the official announcement, I'm not going to reiterate everything that, CNBC reported, but here's the point. This comes straight from Mr. Gary Gensler. Yeah, Gary the Gopher Gensler. Quote, the the @SEC.gov Twitter account was compromised and an unauthorized tweet was posted, according to Gensler, adding that the SEC has not yet granted any approvals of the more than a dozen applications by financial firms for the Bitcoin ETFs. Now, that's crazy to see some of this stuff happening. Some people feel as though it's like, I don't know, manipulation or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't a real hack. Who knows? But that's the report. But neither the SEC nor X, right, formerly known as Twitter, immediately replied to requests for the course to comment. The SEC is widely expected to give the green light this week for a number of financial firms to offer spot Bitcoin ETFs, including industry giants BlackRock, as we know, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton. The approvals could spur, like it says, investment in Bitcoin, bolster cryptocurrency industry. You guys know where I'm going with this, right? So my thing is this, right? I still say something about final deadlines coming up. Yeah, there's going to be a few that are going to pop off. It's going to be significant. Don't get me wrong. But have we not seen some of this stuff before? I mean, this is ETFs. What about the whole things that we've seen in the past that are non-ETFs, like Binance? Binance is doing this, and then find out that's fake news, right? So we're all used to this by now. We've seen what's been going on. And at the end of the day, I mean, this quote right here, either SEC Gov was hacked or Gary Gensler was hacked, or the SEC just, bungled their own announcement. We're all the above, right? I wouldn't put it past them at all. All three possibilities the same, There you go. We're not going to watch another video about that, but that's what's going on with the mainstream news. And you're probably going to see more about this posted. And could it very well happen again? Of course it could happen again. But that is what's tricky about this whole thing, is it not? Because some of you guys, like Mr. Elon Muff, Mike Cornwell, you might choose to do some longs. You might choose to do a combination of longs and shorts. I don't know. Am I saying that's what you should do? Of course not. That'd be financial advice. I'm not going to give it to you. But I've seen some of you guys post some things on X about what you plan on doing. So it's to each his own. But it'd be kind of crazy to see it happening. If it happens again, though, I don't think we see, just a slight pullback to 1.7 trillion overall crypto market. I think it's going to be way more of a dip, because it's kind of like the saying goes, first time, shame on me. Second time, shame on you, right? Right. All right. We're going to kick it back to the comments just for a brief moment. After this, we're going to get into the whole thing of specifically Stellar. We have some good info to get into about Stellar. Pretty interesting things that were shared recently in regards to Stellar. The Hedera statement's pretty darn good as well, but I'm being honest, the quant coverage really takes the cake. Now, it's not a super 2-hour long deep dive or anything like that, but we're going to get into some key things. I don't really know if anybody else is really reporting it. So Quant Papa sent me a message. I don't know if it was before the show or early this morning. He was like, literally, you put this out, you be the first guy. So that sounds pretty cool. It's not about being the first all the time, but sometimes it is, right? Absolutely. All right. So let's get back into the comments. 31 comments. We are currently sitting at only 8 likes. That can't be right. Let me refresh the page. 26. Okay, that's more like it, right? 35 people, 26 likes. Thank you guys. Do appreciate that. You may think hitting the like is silly. Oh, I hate content creators who talk about that. Guys, that's how it works. It triggers the algorithm with more likes. If you're a hater, I guess you won't hit the like, whatever, right? All right. So who do we have in the comments? Well, I think there's a few guys. So let's see here. I think the last one you read was from Stefan Eckel. Agree with that one. Cool Cat says you watched the replay yesterday's show. Good stuff. I'm glad to hear it. Thanks for watching that, Cool Cat. I do appreciate that. All right. Jason Armagon. What's up, JASMY to the moon? Hey, thanks for being here, man. Yes, I agree. All right. Mark says he thinks Craig Wright will sign Satoshi keys in court. He also states that he can't imagine what will happen to the crypto market then. Yeah, this is where I feel as though, like, again, back to the whole thing of record high FOMO and things like that. But we'll see how it pans out. It's gonna be really interesting. Richie Rich is back. He says, "Evening, everyone. Good to see you back, Mr. Richie Rich." I do agree with Cool Cat. Mark, it's game over when that happens. Yeah. All right, let's read a couple more comments. Stefan Eckel, the IMF compares the rules and infrastructure for crypto to the Korean writing system, Hangul, which is simple. Probably not pronouncing that right, but I'll have to look more into it. I'll have to take your word on that one. All right. Mark also says he thinks so. They will sign those keys, hence the 1.1 million in Bitcoin sent to Satoshi's wallet. These are valid points. Something is happening. All right, let's see here. Another comment. I think we didn't get a chance to welcome GS. If I didn't welcome you earlier, GS, welcome back. Good to see you. I think that's what, 2-3 days in a row, something like that. He says crypto's biggest rug pull could be tomorrow. Wow. All right. Tim Shea, Gary warned everyone to be careful on Twitter X and then wreck them on purpose. It's so easy to say. That's a good point. Why would you warn everybody and to do something like that if that wasn't manipulation? I'm glad you're paying attention to that. All right, let's read another one from Mark. Got some good comments. Guys, do you realize BlackRock mentioned Craig Wright by name in their ETF filing to the SEC? That's a fact. No ETF will be granted until the COPPA versus Wright case is resolved. I bet you anything. You want to know something? I think you might be right about that. Because again, back to the whole thing of when you see the interviews and you see Larry Fink talking about, things like cross-border payments and whatnot, using Bitcoin for that, there's no way they're using BTC for cross-border payments. I mean, you're really going to move a bunch of money on something slow and inefficient? No, you got to go with the one of the bunch that has the most utility and the highest, TPS throughput and so on. That would have to be BSV if you're really talking about Bitcoin. So I'm with you on that one. All right, Salamander's back. Hello, is it Salamander you're looking for with his XDC? Lionel Richie, good to see you. All right, let's see here. I think we have some spam that came through. If you guys could take care of that. I don't see how that kind of slipped through, but maybe it's not spam. Maybe it's a legitimate person. I don't know, but that's how it looks on my screen. Abins, if you could take care of that, appreciate that. And Tim Shea, people think he's in trouble, but he'll probably get a promotion. All right, let's see what else we got. Stefan Eckel says more will come out soon to prevent the ETF approved soon. More adoption needed. So, guys, one of the key things we're going to talk about tonight, whether it's this whole news of ETFs or whether Stellar, Quant, Hedera, one of your key takeaways is going to be how each project really accomplishes adoption. That was one of my main emphasis on the research tonight. I hope you guys appreciate it when you see it. All right. Salmare's getting the algorithm going. Do appreciate that. James John is in the house. He says that's baloney, a simple gimmick to substantiate BTC ETF denial. Okay, we welcome different opinions. GS Kowals and Faraday Beggs team, get them. All right. Let's also welcome back Vibra Finance. Here we go with the fire, with the gems. Thank you. Welcome back. Glad to have you. And Mr. Burns Lies is approved. Okay. Let's get into just about maybe 2 or 3 more comments. Hey, look who we have here. It's the one and only Boomer Effort Sooner. I mentioned you yesterday, Boomer. I was like, hey, Boomer's not here, obviously, because I was like, he's probably watching the national championship game. Did you root for Michigan? Did you root for, Washington? Or you just like, I'm not rooting for any of them, right? But, Boomer F and Sooner all the way, right? It's all about the Sooners. So you probably just watch it just to watch it, right? And that makes sense. But good to see you, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. All right. He says, anyone else look out on those Target Stanleys? Oh, geez. Everybody's talking about that lately, trending, I'm Mr. Stanley, dang it. No, I am though. Anyway. All right. Let's see. Do we have anything else? You guys don't see it. So maybe it was legitimate. Maybe it was legitimate. And then maybe YouTube just ate it up and then, it just showed up on StreamYard, but that's okay. All right. Let's read, I guess, 2 more comments. Let's welcome Troy McDrains. Welcome. They were ordered to approve. They can delay, but they've got a choice but to give it to this year. He prefers to having himself. ETF will have slow volatility. That's a good point. Cool Cat, you deleted the spam. All right, well, thanks. I don't know if you're trolling or you mean that. I don't know, but whatever the case be, thanks. I must be on Twitter. Maybe. I don't know. Interesting. That's interesting. All right. Boomer says Washington can't stand cheaters. And I didn't ban, just remove the comment. Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, thank you for doing that, Cool Cat. All right. What we're going to do next is get into the stellar coverage of the day. It's not super long or anything like that. I'm going to give you guys kind of like my own, key takeaway in regards to some of the stellar coverage. There's some things that was recently reported. I think Danelle Dixon also posted some things. So we're going to get into some of the key things in that regard. I think there might be a video. I could be wrong, but I found it to be very interesting. And who doesn't like, right, recent stellar news? As you guys know, you can't really get stellar news for the most part that's fresh every day. So we're going to get into some of that. We pull up the branding for that. Just kind of helps me, helps you guys if you're watching on the replay or just tuning in, where the case be. No, that looks super cool. So there we go with the stellar coverage. All right. So please smash the like if you appreciate the coverage here at Maximus Crypto. My hope is that we get to 4,000 subs. Be a nice little milestone by Monday. That is the goal. I think we can do it. A lot of the videos are doing really well. You guys have pointed out before, Max, you'll know your channel's in a bull run when it's the bull run. You know what I mean? Like, you get a lot more views and subs and so on when the bull run's here. I've totally seen it. I mean, some of the videos are just really doing really well. Lots of new subs. You're going to start seeing more new people here. So if you see new people, always welcome them. We're a very friendly, mature community for the most part. I obviously want you guys to be yourselves, but always welcome newcomers and so on. And as the saying goes, don't attack the person, attack, for instance, the argument, right? It's not a shouting contest. So yeah, let's pull this up. This is straight from the official Stellar. I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see it. And here it is. So this was posted, I believe, early today, 4 o'clock my time. So in regards to that, I mean, like 3.5 hours ago. So basically still pretty fresh. I want you to pay attention to this. You may feel as though you already know about this, but it's still relevant. There's a lot of people who don't. So look at this for a second. So it states these particular stats, and I think this is always worth pointing out. We've posted, charts like this before in the past. You guys have seen the one about like XDC compared to like Bitcoin, Ethereum, whoop-de-doo, right? But this one's stellar. So look at this for a second, because we need to talk about the whole concept of mass adoption. We talk about on and off ramps. Can you have the one that is literally the most significantly least expensive of the bunch? I think the answer is yes, and I think it's stellar all the way, especially for retail, right? The screen shows that stellar sits at 0. Let's count them: 3, 4, 5 zeros and a 1. The golden champion trophy, if you will. Solana sits at 0.305. Cello, some people call it, CeLo or Solo, 0.001. Polygon Matic sitting at roughly 4 cents. Avalanche 26 cents. Base at 1.11. Optimism at 1.16. Now this doesn't mean the cost per one transaction. That'd be ridiculous, right? The point is, what does it actually cost to transfer? For instance, hold on a second, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, sorry about that. What does it cost to actually transfer 1 million in stablecoins? We did find it out, and here's the information about this. And if anything, I'm going to share this with you. So this is crazy. Let's go ahead and play this. There's no sound, but look at this for a second. There's a little example. And you kind of have an idea how that works. I mean, it's kind of to the point, right? You kind of understand how that works. I think it's almost done. So there's that. Let's jump back for a second. And yeah, this guy asked, well, what about XRP? I'm sure it's like, right up there with it too. But that is really, really significant. I mean, the way I look at it is we can talk about the TPS numbers all day long, and there's some good examples. But Stellar to be 9-day difference. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was ahead of Solana by what, 0.4 zeros and a number, but no, it's literally 5 zeros. I mean, you want to talk about, lapping the competition. Stellar all the way, right? Pretty cool to share that. Anyway, that's from them. Of course, I have a little bit more. I want to get into this, and of course, that's my highlight. I'll get back to that in a second. This is cool stuff. Look what it says. This is straight from Stellar. It was recent. Blockchain as a means to broaden digital financial inclusion. This one was actually on January 4th, a few days ago, right? But this right here, it says as outlined in the paper. Yes, an actual new white paper, not white paper as far as like, Stellar creating everything from scratch again, not like that. But as outlined in the paper, an estimated 1.4 billion adults worldwide lack basic financial tools, such as simple bank account. People who are currently unbanked face limited access to formal financial services, especially in economies with substantial informal sectors and persistent gender disparities in account ownership. Your takeaway from this should be how many different cryptocurrency projects that you're invested in which you're like, well, we need to see more mass adoption, right? We need more people to understand, what the project offers and how it really is going to benefit people, right? All those things are great. But what if you can have a particular project, or I should say product at this point, with Stellar that has already laid the groundwork through connections all over the world, so that when we have mass adoption, it's because it's already at the front row center foundation core, if you will, of what they got going on. We talk about flip of the switch. This is a great example of the pathway forward of the whole concept of, like we've been talking about for a couple of years, of, Aunt May or, Granny, your great granny and so on, goes down to the bank or whatever the case be, and basically doesn't even know that they're swiping crypto. It's like the debit card is already tied into crypto. Why is that? Because everything was already laid down, that framework, so on and so forth. This goes on to talk about solutions that move towards financial inclusion and the emergence of it and all that. Talks about the cost of cross-border transactions remains a priority for vulnerable populations, and fees for sending and receiving payments across borders remain high. They do. But back to that example with Stellar, night and day difference. At the end of the day, money shouldn't cost so much money to transfer. I know it sounds like a crazy thing to say, but it's very well true. Getting more into this, I want to share this. Here's the actual paper. I could get into all of it. But what I want to highlight for you guys tonight in regards to this, resources.stellar.org, if you're wanting it to have it. It's called Financial Inclusion. It is the new particular white paper. This right here, there's plenty of these about Vibrant, AirTM. We've reported on some of these. But it's this statement right here: blockchain provides more affordable and efficient cross-border payments. Very, very true. The cost of cross-border payments remains high for individuals sending personal remittances and or exporting, exporting, I should say, and importing goods for making intercompany payments and settlements. Financial entities using blockchain infrastructure, technology, and so on, built products that facilitate more affordable and efficient cross-border transactions, even for the retail sector, right? When we jump down to this part, it talks about the lack of liquidity is still a challenge in the most expensive payment corridors, or especially the parts of the world that are unbanked and where it could cost a lot more money just to give those people access. Again, come into the whole thing of Stellar. This part that talks about spring 2023 in regards to cross-border payments, Stellar has this example where they had two fintech companies, Finclusive and AnClap, that announced the results of a limited scope pilot focused on even U.S. Colombia remittance corridor utilizing Stellar blockchain app, or what they got going on in that regard. We gave you examples that was it other Latin American countries, LACchain with Quant, but this part in box 3 of easing cross-border payments and liquidity challenges references once again the things that we've been talking about for over a year, and that is how the World Bank consistently references Stellar, like not every single time, but where it counts. It states, for this particular corridor, the average cost of sending remittances via traditional methods is over 5% of the amount sent, according to the World Bank. During this pilot, which was utilizing blockchain tech and stablecoins to send remittances between individuals in the U.S. and Colombia, average cost of remittance was roughly half that figure. The participating companies believe that these costs could be reduced as transaction volumes increase. I have talked about Boss Money, but the two key ones I want to talk about is some videos I did in the past. So for one is AirTM, like it says, facilitating international payments for payroll. It's a solution focused on micro work in emerging markets. Beneficiaries are, of course, paid with Circle's fully reserved digital dollar USDC. They can convert, of course, to local currency, and that's a big, big thing. AirTM wallet is is able to receive international payments as well as local payments and add funds. We're going to get to the point about the whole thing of where XLM comes through, because a lot of you guys have pointed out, hey, it's cool to mention this, but I don't see where there's a real benefit of Stellar's XLM. And I'm going to get to that point, because you know what? I do try to put myself in you guys' shoes. I want that answered as well, right? This other point, we covered this before also with ARF. Listen to this. ARF serves as regulated liquidity settlement platform, licensed financial institutions, cross-border payments. 2022, ARF introduced, I did remember posting this in my video, short-term liquidity solution for using USDC for cross-border payments. Within 8 months of its launch, the company has extended over $270 million in loans to financial institution, and that's just ARF. And with what they got going on with Stellar is obviously massive, but this did result in a cumulative on-chain USDC volume of 370 million. And I'll read this last part verbatim as well. I know it's a lot of verbatim. This solution demonstrates how blockchain and stablecoins can address financial inclusion challenges arising from liquidity constraints while making settlements more transparent, traceable, and in real time. And last but not least, back to the whole thing of real-time payment settlements in blockchain, and how, generally speaking, payment settlements are not automated and can take more than one business day to settle. But if you have something like a game changer, whether it is Ripple's XRP for, for instance, cross-border payments, or Stellar, right, from the retail side and so on, you got to keep in mind both of these are, game changers. So what I want to show you guys, or share with you guys, I should say, excuse me, is why this is so significant. The way I look at it is for quite a few reasons. Back to the whole thing of, for instance, ARF. So we have with Stellar these proof of concept, if you will, for blockchain and stable coins. You're going to understand, or have a more of understanding, unless you're the guy that already knows about this stuff, of how the whole thing with XLM comes into the mix, especially when it comes to USDC, because you better believe I get kind of tired of posting some of this stuff, and some people point out, hey, Max, I see where you're coming from, but it's mainly like a focus of USDC. Listen to this for a second. Just hear me out. Back to the subject about ARF. From what I gathered in regards to my own notes and research, our success provides real-world evidence of how blockchain and stablecoins, of course, can address financial inclusion. Those challenges by improving transparency, traceability, and of course that was mentioned in the white paper of real-time settlement. This validates Stellar's vision of decentralizing and democratizing financial services. Now, what about having a demonstration of how this all works with XLM? Well, by demonstrating the effectiveness of USDC Circle on Stellar, ARF lays the groundwork, because that's what we've been talking about, the groundwork today, for future adoption of what? Yeah, you better believe it. XLM, Stellar's native token, XLM, the Lumens, for cross-border settlements. XLM itself offers even faster and cheaper transactions compared to who? USDC, making it a potentially ideal solution for what, guys? Come on. You know the answer, for high volume payments. So at the end of the day, sorry, I didn't want to cough in the mic. At the end of the day, you've got to keep in mind that when we look into ARF, when we don't look into it all the time, they do stand at the forefront for the reasons that we outlined, not just on tonight's show, but even in the past. And let's just give you an idea of the potential future for integration. So for one, ARF's current focus on, of course, USDC, because that's, let's face it, their focus, might be due to regulatory considerations. And of course, investor preferences. Each investor has many different preferences. When we start seeing things open with these ETFs, investors are still going to have preferences, but if anything, ETFs will give more options. I want you guys to understand that there is technical limitations to all this, but the success of USDC and that solution does pave the way, if you will, for the potential future of what, guys? The integration of XLM and particularly the Lumens. With growing regulatory clarity, which is right around the corner, in my opinion, and development of Stellar's interoperable features, ARF itself, because that's what we're talking about tonight, could explore offering both Circle, as in USDC, and even XLM options to its users, catering to different needs and preferences. And this is where your boil it, mash it, stick in a stew moment comes right now. And that is this. With all the talks of the ETFs going on, and Franklin Templeton at the forefront, just like with the BlackRocks and the Vanguards and so on, we have covered the whole thing of the significance of Franklin Templeton and, of course, Stellar. How do we know that? Remember the old interviews? You see the lady, can't remember her name, but she's the big wig over at Franklin Templeton, and she's literally sitting right next to the lovely Denell Dixon, talking about the future of this wonderful partnership of Franklin Templeton and Stellar. They already have it. That groundwork has already been laid, right? So with that said, all the people that are flooding XLM saying, look at all this stuff going on, Stellar still hasn't done nothing, I wouldn't complain about it, because if anything, have you not hit your goals for Stellar? And if not, consider it a blessing in disguise. That's the way I personally look at it. The time is running out. It's going to be limited in regards to Stellar. I'm not a fortune teller, but that is the way I look at it. And how do I know that? Because I've seen it before. At the end of the day, I can't give you guys a definitive answer on what the prices are going to be, because I'm not a fortune teller, but I want everybody to consider the whole thing of these, the significance of ARF and Stellar coming together. The two come to one for Circle and XLM together, the pairings, if you will, the whole thing of what ARF is looking to accomplish from a broader perspective, and of course what Stellar with XLM is looking to do. Combine that with the whole thing of Franklin Templeton. I just honestly think it's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, and I'm going to stick to my guns about that. Because that's honestly just the way I look at it personally. So that concludes our Stellar coverage of the night. The next coverage we're going to get into here in a bit is Hedera HBAR. Please smash a like if you haven't done so already. If you appreciate the content. If you don't have to press nothing. Okay. All right. Let's get back into the comments. And let's see. We got 49 new comments. I see Mr. Din G, aka Dyor, is here. Good to see you, man. Boom. All right. Let's double check the other screen, see how we're doing. Making sure I didn't miss anything. And I don't think I missed squat. All right. All right. That's good. Okay. All right. So let's see how we're doing. And let's get back to the comments. So who do we have in the comments? There's supposed to be over 30 new comments. And it is, let's see. Done deal Dixon says cool cat. I agree, it is a done deal. Dinu says Triple C is changed, man. Is a changed man. He won't ban on the first strike. Well, that's good. You know, we don't want ban happy admins unless it's something stupid. It's going to affect the channel, ruin things. Then there's some instances in which, like, I'll just use the code word prawn. If it's prawn, you got to instantly do it because if anything, our channel could get taken down. That would suck. So I do thank you, moderators and admins, for being on top of it. And let's go further down. All Might says it's another hoax. Let's welcome All Might. And Dinu says he called his bank today. He asked a few questions about crypto. They encouraged me to be in the market, but to be careful. Dope. That's interesting. Yeah, it might be good. All right. Dingy says 3 years ago, hold on, 7:30, not too long ago, 15 minutes. They were blocking every transaction going to crypto because they were telling me it was a scam and too risky. Now they encourage, but to be safe. Interesting. Well, I know it sounds kind of controversial, but they also recognize that's your account and that you're cool with it before. But, you know, I get where you come from. I mean, I have the same situation, but I remember when I was first purchasing crypto, it was just like, you know, God, talking about a blockade. You know, then you had to call them up, and in some case, I even had to go in person. It was a mess, and now it's not even a problem. But, you know, I remember originally it was just like, who's this KuCoin? These people out of South Korea or Malaysia or whatever. And I'm like, I have to explain myself. I'm like, I did make the purchase. I'm fully aware what's going on. You know, anyway. All right, let's see here. Cool Cat Crypto. My bank acted in a similar way. He says 2 or 3 wire transfers. They acted like he was nuts. After that, they were asking me for tips on what crypto to invest in. And of course, you probably said BSV and read on. That's cool. You said diversification. That's cool. All right, let's see here. You got some Oregon Trail. So Oregon Trail that hit the dollar price within 1 month. All right, this has nothing to do, obviously, with crypto, but I want to state this. Some of you guys use Steam, right? For, you know, your gamers. There's a game on Steam I still want to try out. It's still called Oregon Trail. It's called the Oregon Trail, right? Like I don't know, I think it's by a donor or organ donor or something like that. Looks kind of interesting. Anyway, nothing beats you know, still playing on an old Apple II or whatever it was, or Commodore 64. I can't remember. You know, second grade, great big old giant floppy disk, and you know, the green and black and white, you know, graphics, or what do you call it, pixels? I don't even know what it's called. If you're gonna go, you know, Oregon Trail, you know, you gotta go all old school, right? Original monitor, all that stuff. Anyway. All right. Cool Cat Crypto. For sure, XRP maxis are the dumbest people on YouTube. XLM is a better group of people. Well, I hear where you're coming from. I mean, I'm not maxi in anything, but, you know, anyway. Dinio, Stellar is not using XLM, but using USDC. Okay. So totally dismiss what I just presented, but that's okay. You know, we'll agree to disagree, but that's all right. Cool Cat Crypto. Stellar makes plays left and right too. The other ISOs act like they're on vacation. Well, they'll probably pop off, you know. Some people feel as though the IOTA is on vacation. I don't think it's on vacation. I think they're still building personally. I think they're making the connections. But don't get me wrong. I probably should own a bigger bag of it, but I'm pleased with it. You know, I'm still at over a 2x on my IOTA, so I'm good. All right. Are you talking about ADA and Algo? I think you're talking to Cool Cat or somebody. Let's go further down. If these are part of the future financial, below 100 is a fail. Depends on how long you hold it, man. At this speed adoption, I feel like it's retirement money. Okay. And Dinu says he's got $2.99 super sticker. All right, let's see what that looks like. I always like the stickers. They look kind of cool sometimes. Ah. You were trying to make a cool fox for Cool Cat Crypto. Very cool. Well, thank you for the $2.99 Canadian super sticker, my friend. I appreciate that. Life of Liam with the shroom says El Champion. I think I saw you the other day. Welcome back. He said, "What's good, brother? How's V doing?" I don't know, but nonetheless, welcome back. All right. You'll ban them before you need to say anything, Max. That's true. You're on top of it, Tim. Thank you so much, man. I do appreciate you always. And we got River says he's got to go. He's going to try to catch the rest on the road and at the rink. Okay, cool. No worries, man. Cool Cat Crypto says, yeah, you may mention BSV. That's cool. Because you know something, what's cool actually about also mentioning BSV, we all know that people, when we talk about crypto who just don't know about most altcoins and stuff, you know, what's the typical thing everybody says, right? Even like a very, I hate to use this expression, but like elderly people, like, you know, hey, yeah, you know, hey, heard of Bitcoin? You know, it's like, well, yeah, but this is the real Bitcoin, you know, BSV. So that works, right? All right, GG is announced HBAR, right? Absolutely. Jack Thompson, BSV, a scam. I think you're joking, but that's okay. And damn, JASMY is not $1 soon. Yeah, we'll get there. It just takes time. All right. Let's get into the next part of what we have. It is the HBAR segment. Let's pull that up. And this is recent. All right. So, you know, let's double check on the likes real quick. We're sitting at, let me refresh it again. 48 likes with 42 people watching. That's not too bad. All right. Let's pull up the HBAR peanut butter cup thing going on. Looks pretty cool. I think it does. Anyway. All right. It's been a while since we talked about HBAR. Doesn't mean we forgot about it, right? No. So, in the process of getting back into the whole thing of HBAR, we're going to show you what's going on with some of the recent news. So, this comes straight from the official Hedera page. They reposted this. Talks about 10 million HCS20 transactions in the last 5 days. Of course, that's a typo. You know, he might be a foreigner and so on. It's okay. It says that's 10 million HCS transactions, 1,000 USD, 19,308 wallets holding this called HCS20. Might want to look more into it, you guys, if you want. And it says, and we haven't even got through the first week. Of course, he has the link to, you know, hash scan. Take his word on it, right? We're not going to put a lot of emphasis on that. But you like to see things like this part of the what, guys? The Hedera ecosystem. You guys are always saying, hey, Max, share other things for these ecosystems. I forgot the whole thing in regards to Stronghold with, you know, Stellar and so on. We'll get into some, you know, the whole thing at SHX. If we don't do it by Thursday, we'll do it sometime next week, okay? But the bottom line is, I think it's cool to share some of this stuff, right? So getting to the next part, take a look at this. Again, reposted from Hedera. Generation Infinity states, Hedera is setting the bar high. When are they not setting the bar high? By focusing on building a network that's not only profitable, but also self-sustainable, they are ensuring long-term success and resilience. This is how you build for the future. And if anything, we got Hedera's, you know, some people say the number 2 guy because Lehman Baird is number 1. I think kind of like both these guys are equal because, you know, he is the co-CEO over at Swirl's Lab, and he's also co-founder of Hedera. So I would say he's equal to Lehman Baird. But he does have some comments. He's bullish, obviously, on HBAR, Genfinity, right? This is only a minute 12 seconds. I want to share this with you guys. It's nice to get some new HBAR news. And this was posted this morning, January 9th. Let's go ahead and share this. Here we go.
The Hedera network as a whole is seeing really good growth in terms of network usage, which then translates into revenue that pays for the network usage and makes this whole project financially sustainable. And this year there's going to be millions of dollars of revenue. That's huge. That's big. That's a major jump over previous years, and things look good from a long-term sustainability perspective. And we're just now coming out, and knock on wood here, I think we're just now coming out of crypto winter, right? Some have already said that we're now in a bull market. Who knows? I hope so. But we've been building for the past 2 years in the middle of crypto winter. I think we're well positioned as an ecosystem to really take advantage of this next cycle. And yeah, I think we're on track to long-term sustainability. So I'm very bullish on that.
I like sharing this stuff with you guys. You know, maybe you've seen some of this, maybe you haven't, but it's fresh, you know, and that's cool, especially from somebody like that. You know, I mean, I'm always paying attention to some stuff like this. So, you know, it's been a while since you've seen like a new interview from Mance Harmon. So that was cool to share that, obviously. I'm going to share a little bit more because Hedera has been posting a lot of new stuff. So check this out. Here's another one. And this one is also, of course, from Hedera. And it states digital payments firm. Let me double check my settings. I'm make sure I'm not muted because that would be bad. All right. I was just out of frame. That's all. But yeah, digital payments firm SKUX might not be the right way to pronounce it, but bear with me. They announced today that they have seen or been awarded 2 new patents. So, you know, again, we're going to get to the quant coverage later on tonight. Big news in regards to patents, but even Hedera, right, part of the mix. But yes, 2 new patents for payments processing technology utilizing just that, the Hedera network. And on top of that, ZK proofs to enhance the customer experience and mitigate payment fraud. We've always talked about this whole thing of ZK or, you know, ZK EVM with Polygon, right? Probably talked you guys' ears off about some of this stuff at this point. But I like the idea of experiencing this whole thing of mitigating payment fraud. Hedera seems to be really at the forefront compared to other, you know, DLT solutions to address some of the key issues. So it says learn more. I'll take you to a little bit about it, but it says fast, filtered, and frictionless payment done right. Now, let's take you to this article. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a lot. But basically speaking, SKU is the, or SKU Pay, first multi-patented item level payment adjudication. I can't pronounce that. Technology not requiring merchants to share sensitive basket level data externally. Cool. Because you guys now talk about JASMY all the time. So you guys talk about IOTA, right? Internet things. We talk about, you know, protecting privacy. You know, the shift from centralized marketplaces to decentralized marketplaces, right? Probably get tired of hearing that too. But that's cool. Utilizing this whole thing with Hedera as well. Date is January 9th. Later in digital payments or digital payment, instant payments says SKUX. Please announce this patent, right? And basically for item level payment processing tech And it goes more further down about all these things, new tools for enhancing customer experience and product level promotions. You may think that some of this sounds kind of boring. It's not. It's significant because you're a Hedera holder. And last I checked, if you can have something like Hedera, which does in fact compete with the likes of like, Hyperledger and even Corda, right? You have to keep in mind that if they have anything exclusive on their platform that can basically legitimately compete with the competition, like I just mentioned, in the form of patents, I think it's a win-win. So going further down, we have some examples of this. Talks about an example of a fast-growing market requiring item level added. I can't pronounce that tonight. Adjudication at the point of sale in the U.S. healthy benefits market based on analysis of government records. It is estimated to have reached 200 billion in 2023. 435 patent is directed towards facilitating real-time integration of promotional offers such as coupons, coupon codes, gift cards, etc. Says example is payments are a valuable proactive customer engagement tool for promotional customer services. The individualized promotions are serialized in a way that facilitates, real-time tracking of the issuance, redemption, and corresponding insights that are gained. The capability enables a new enhanced customer experience for consumer packaged goods rebates, which volume is expected to reach 1 billion by 2026, which estimated 50% will be redeemed to gift cards. So, I'm always talking about Stellar, where I'm like, yeah, Stellar's the one when it comes to like being used for like goods and services and just like the regular Joe Schmo retail person and so on. But now you also see Hedera with the hash graph also right at the forefront too. So again, it's competition. And this is where I always feel as though, why hold just one? Why not hold a lot of these? I mean, you guys have been through this. This is why we put so much focus on which ones are part of the whole thing of ISO 222. So there's so much more about this. I'm not going to read all this, but one thing I want to get into is some of the significant things, at least in my opinion, that I want to bring to your attention. So for one, my key thing in summary, based off what you saw for Hedera tonight, which basically speaking, we have a little bit more. But in regards to the whole thing of SKU, is basically speaking, digital payments firm SKU, that announcement today, basically, being awarded 2 new patents for payments processing technology, utilizing, of course, Hedera's network and ZK proofs to enhance the customer experience and mitigate payment fraud. The significance of the whole thing, well, there's a few things that are significant. So for one, the validation and adoption. Again, remember, like I said earlier, your key takeaway for the main topic of tonight's show is adoption, mass adoption. So SKUX is a prominent digital payments company, and their endorsement through patent acquisition highlights, of course, just that real world applicability and effectiveness of Hedera's tech, utilizing their tech. And it's crucial sector like finance, for instance. What they got going on, especially with these 2 particular patents, is going to very well attract a whole slew of other businesses in the payment space and spur industry adoption for what? Hedera. Isn't that what we want? Absolutely. Now, they have been awarded these patents that focus on aspects like item level payment acceptance, and fraud prevention. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of you guys are into like veracity and so on. And one thing that has always stood out to me, with veracity is like they also want to prevent fraud for people that or businesses that are trying to advertise, especially when it comes to videos, to get real, real engagement, real clicks. You don't want a bot, right? So all those things have significance. But if you like to see these other elements of what kind of makes other blockchains or other crypto projects, I should say, stand out, but being part of the whole mix with Hedera, that's cool. Some of you guys are also into, like, for instance, VET, right? VChain. And one of the things that I remember, when I was first covering altcoins and I first heard about VChain was, hey, this whole concept of being able to take like a barcode and, if you're like down in New York or whatever, I've heard the stories. I haven't been there, but I have a couple cousins that live there. And they would tell me the stories of, like, yeah, the black market's really real there. You're either going to get two forms of the black market. You're going to get the ones in which it's stolen items that are real, and people pay the discounted prices because it's a hot item, or you're literally thinking you're paying something at a discounted rate and it's fake, right? You're getting fake polo hoodie, or you're getting fake Air Jordans, or whatever the case be, Nikes, whatever, right? Michael Kors purse for your girlfriend or wife or whatever. So to have this with SKUX already there, and already with the patent, and already accessing Hedera's tech, I think this definitely helps Hedera get the leg up. And, we talk about mass adoption, we talk about multiple layers of utility. This is really good. In conclusion, in regards to the SKU part of what we have for Hedera, this is a big technological advancement for mainly two specific reasons. So for one, these patents do in fact showcase the innovative use cases, of course, for Hedera, and there's many different innovative use cases, but it's basically beyond its core strength and consensus, as we know, the hash graph consensus, right? And security. This is going to integrate features like item level offers and secure digital payments that demonstrate specifically Hedera's flexibility and potential for diverse applications across different industries. Again, growing out that ecosystem. This is a premier project that's part of Hedera's ecosystem. How cool is that? What about this other thing about this collaboration? Well, these patents basically will potentially lead to further refinement and optimization of Hedera's technology, but it's also going to allow innovative companies like SKUX. Hedera itself can also receive valuable feedback and refine its solutions to better real suit the real world use cases, expand on those real world use cases. Another thing I was going to mention is back to the whole thing, like the examples that we gave earlier about, Corda, also, Hyperledger, right? So it's market competitiveness. You want Hedera to be competitive, obviously. And basically speaking, these patents represent a significant intellectual property win. Yeah, for the win, as the gamers would say, for Hedera, because it potentially creates barriers for entry for the specific competitors and further establishing its position as the leader in the field, as in Hedera. So I think that's big. And now let's get into a video. Let's go ahead and share this. You guys know about this lady. You should know about this lady. She is from a thing called Gossip by what? Gossip. Gossip about gossip. And she is this lady by the name of Zenobia Gottschalk. You think I'd be able to, instantly remember her name every time. Sometimes I don't. I have to admit. But anyway, I have fast forwarded to the good parts because we're always talking about Hedera's governing council. Were you aware there's a new president? His name is Charles Atkins. He's a new governing council president, if you will. And if anything, we're going to share some of his background. And then we're going to get into the whole part of why Hedera. And then we'll fast forward it to why this is significant because of Hedera being built for just that, guys. Enterprise. So it's not super long, but it's somewhat new. This came out late December. So I thought I'd bring it to you guys. All right, here we go.
But I do think it's valuable to first start with a little bit of your background and how you got here.
Yeah, sure. So I was actually I call it classically trained and schooled in global econ and finance. I started out in investment banking with Morgan Stanley on the private equity side for several years in the very early 2000s, and then moved over to U.S. Department of Treasury, where I held a security cleared position there that mainly watched the functions of online banking and online funds transfers globally, which was a very new thing at the time, although we all know it very well now. Started learning about crypto and NFTs and the whole Web3 ecosystem right around 2013, 2014. Ended up at Polygon as the vice president of enterprise applications and financial services in Polygon, very early days there, and then on to Aptos Labs, where I led global business partnerships there. And I've known about Hedera for a long time. I've seen a couple tweets already out there, or X messages out there now joking how I've talked about and known about Hedera for 3 or 4 years and what took me so long. So yeah, I'm officially here now.
Awesome. Our community will find anything and everything. So yes, any Taylor Swift tweets or otherwise, they will be surfaced very soon. So, you've been aware of Hedera, but you've sort of been, focused on other ecosystems. What brought you to this role, or what compelled you to say, hey, maybe I should give this a shot?
Yeah, when I kind of saw that the role between executive chairman and president was being split, and Brett was going to focus on the chairman role and the president role was open, I said, this is a great opportunity for me to put my hat in the ring and see if the governing council and the search committee is going to be willing to accept me as president and go through that process. So, it was a long process, many thought-provoking questions and a lot of homework and several months in the process, really, to get to this point. But Hedera has always been really interesting to me, and a lot of it has to do with the governing council model and the way that it's working by utilizing enterprises and taking their feedback and allowing them to be a part of how the ecosystem grows and how the actual technology is being used. You don't see many other chains taking that approach. They typically focus on the consumer, what the consumer has to say. They try to build products based on, what they feel an individual consumer may want. But getting that institutional learning from organizations that already have that big of a footprint in the global economy is a really big deal. And I think that's one of the best ways to kind of drive the information about this technology out in, to a broader scope of people.
And so, taking a little bit of a step back, we did announce, that we are splitting the role. So can you help folks who are not, necessarily involved in governance or involved in this level at their organization understand the difference between chair and president? Yeah,
the chair's the president role, and specifically what I'll be mainly focusing on is the operations of the staff at Hedera, how Hedera is actually running, some influence on the foundation, Hashgraph Association, working very closely with Swirlds Labs, and just really understanding kind of the broader ecosystem and community, and helping to drive the operational efforts on that side, and hopefully influence and bring in more council members in 2024. Which will be really exciting. On the chairman role, that's more managing some of the governance things, some of the governance decisions, managing many of the meetings, many of the governing council members, the voting processes, more things of that nature as far as the governance side is concerned. And I'll be mainly more on the operations side. You'll probably see me a lot more publicly speaking at events, being at events. That's more of a role that I'll most likely be playing.
And as you go out and engage, with the public, are there any things that you want them to know in terms of, either folks who have known you in, previous lives, or who are just getting to know you?
Yeah, I think if it's somebody that's not familiar with Hedera or kind of DLT technology, blockchain technology in general, I hope that they really do take a look at the consensus mechanisms and the actual technology that drives Hedera to be what it is. It's very unique, it's very scalable and very fast. And it's one of those they call it, the blockchain trilemma of how do you stay decentralized, fast, and secure. And Hedera is one of the chains out there. Well, I will say it's DLT. It's not necessarily a sequential chain. That really solves a lot of those problems. And I think that's why many of the larger organizations have been drawn to it, is because it does have that safety and security aspect, as well as being able to have the throughput and speed that an organization of those size would need. But that doesn't mean that if you're a builder or developer out there building a game, you could only imagine that Hedera is a great place to come and test building your game. If you get a lot of users, that's something that's really helpful. If you're building an NFT project and you're going to have many interactions and you want your community to thrive in an environment that's safe, and one where the performance is going to excel, Hedera is a great place as well. So it's one of those rare places where the individual consumer can really find a place, and large organizations can really meet all of the standards that they have as well.
Yeah. And I think, we talk about that too. When we say it is built for enterprise or for that enterprise scale, that doesn't mean it's just for enterprise. I have yet to meet a founder and entrepreneur who's like, yep, I just want to have this tiny project that never grows. Like, my wildest dream is to be an enterprise someday. So why wouldn't you start by building on kind of that enterprise backbone and that infrastructure that can help you scale up to where you want to be when you're successful beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah, that's right.
And so the community is going to see you, out and about at a lot of places. I think probably the first place, since you're going to be up and running very quickly, is in Davos in January. I think you have been there before, right?
It's been several years, but yes, I have. I was back there in a government capacity with Treasury.
Yeah. And so can you, give us a little bit of color? We've taken some of this community on that journey, but, the kinds of meetings and the kinds of interactions that you hope to have there now as part of Hedera.
Yeah, I think a lot of the meetings that I'll hope to have is obviously with large organizations, but also people that can, move policy along, that are thinking about Web3 and blockchain and DLT technology in a way that can bring some clarity to regulation. That's something that's always really exciting to hear, kind of what's working out there and what may be finding challenges in certain regions. There's obviously a global presence there, so it's really good to have, boots on the ground, as it were, and hear it from people who are actually dealing with this on a day-to-day basis. The other thing is there's a lot of people there that have, environmental and sustainability goals that I think Hedera can really impact in a positive way. So those are a lot of the conversations I'd like to have. And then with our governing council now being so strong, there's a lot of examples that I'll be able to bring to the table to say, hey, look, this is already working. This isn't just a vision that we have. These are actual case studies that are working. And I think that's going to be a really positive thing.
Yeah. And, touching on the governing council, you, I won't say they put you through the ringer, but it was certainly a good and detailed interview process. So any insights from that, or things that you want to share in terms of your conversations with them throughout that process?
Yeah, I feel really optimistic about the level of knowledge that the governing council has. Typically, there's this misconception that these large organizations don't really understand, Web3. They don't understand decentralization. They don't understand the idea of how to build a community around a technology. And through that process, I can say I've learned that it's completely the opposite of that. These are highly educated people, and not only building communities and brands, they understand decentralized technology and governance. They understand how important it is to have transparency and sustainability. Just really incredible questions all along the way, and actually just many things that were very thought-provoking that hopefully I can focus on moving forward too.
Yeah, deeper conversations then can happen on crypto Twitter, for instance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Charles, we know you have a very busy day. Anything else you would like to share with us or with the community before we let you go? I
think I'll just give a big thank you to the governing council members who are entrusting me with this position, and a really big thanks to the entire Hedera community. The outreach on social media and people messaging me and congratulating me has been pretty overwhelming for today, but I'll be sure to reach out to as many people as I possibly can. But I really appreciate all the love from the community. It's been huge.
Awesome. We love to hear that. Thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you.
Welcome to Gossip About Gossip, powered by Hedera Hashgraph. In each episode, we'll cut through the hype of blockchain promises and explore real-world examples of organizations creating the next generation of decentralized applications, which will bring trust back to the internet for us all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Gossip About Gossip, the podcast where we talk about real-world applications of distributed ledger technology. My name is Zenobia Godschalk, and I'm the SVP of Communications here at Swirled Labs, helping to grow the Hedera ecosystem. Today, we have a very special guest on, Andrew Aiken, who is the new COSO, or Chief Open Source Officer for Hedera. Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Hi, Zenobia. Thanks for having me on, and hello to everyone who's listening.
All right. So I think before we talk about the role of a COSO and what you will be doing, what you hope to be doing, I would love for our audience to just get to know you a little bit better. So can you share a little bit of your open source journey and how you got here?
Sure, happy to. So I stumbled on open source literally 24 years ago, a little over 24 years ago. A friend of mine, I was in the consulting industry in Silicon Valley, a small consulting firm, and a friend of mine who was a competitor came to me one day and said, "Hey, do you want to build a Linux consulting company?" And I'm not sure I could have spelled Linux correctly at that time, but like, great, let's do it. And that was right after the Red Hat IPO, which at the time was the largest IPO in history.
Yeah.
And we thought, hey, this is a great idea. Let's ride on the backs of this momentum that this company called Red Hat has. And so we launched an open source consulting company, went out with some other, we joined another company. They had some executive leadership. We went out, got venture funding, and went that whole route and failed spectacularly about a year later. But this is really kind of heartfelt for the audience. I'm not a developer. I've always been on the strategy side.
All right, sorry about that. We went about a couple minutes, 2.5 minutes over on that one particular one. Supposed to stop at the other previous guy. I'll fix it up on the chopped up. All right, sorry about that. I was kind of running back to get here. But let me show you guys just a tad bit left about this. So you just saw that little interview. It also talked about the whole thing about the significance in regards to enterprise with Hedera. I'm not going to get into a lot of it, right? Because, I had a little bit of an extra 2.5 minutes. That's not too bad of a extended overplay. But why talk about this? Well, it's basically this. The significance of how this all plays into Hedera, right? So addressing enterprise needs, just kind of like what you saw also in the previous video. Hedera's features directly address the concerns of security, scalability, real-world integration, right? That often hold back enterprises, of course, from blockchain adoption. Again, I can't pound it home enough. Key takeaway tonight is adoption. This positions them as a strong contender for real-world use cases. Who? Obviously, Hedera. They got the competitive edge compared to other, often more slower, less stable blockchains. We get it. Hedera is not a blockchain. It's, the hash graph consensus protocol and so on, but it's a DLT. And Hedera's performance and security often offer a significant advantage in attracting, of course, enterprise clients. It's one of the key things that stands out for Hedera time and time again. It's going to drive faster growth and, of course, keep expanding out that ecosystem. Now, one thing I want to point out in regards to competition in the enterprise blockchain space, well, we know it's fierce, right? It's a fierce battle for a lot of these. They might not officially come out and say, hey, we're in competition with XYZ project and so on, but they definitely are. While Hedera has unique strengths, just like anything, it faces challenges from established players, like I mentioned, Hyperledger Fabric, merging solutions like Corda. But you got to keep in mind these things that they got going on with this new player, SKUX, for these two specific patents. I think it's absolute game changer. And I was glad, of course, to share this whole thing that we shared with you earlier in regards to this new member of the Hedera Council, right? Pretty cool stuff to see his background, how Hedera comes into the whole mix as far as enterprise use case and so on. On this next part, we're going to get into maybe, I don't know, we might end it tonight because, you know, the population is kind of dwindling down tonight. But the next thing we're going to talk about is quant. I'm going to get back into the comments for a brief bit. This quant coverage is not super long, but man, it really, really stands out. It's really, really cool. All right, so let's get back to it. We have Life of Liam, who's in the house. Thanks for being here. I think I welcomed you earlier. I did. You state a few things. That it is possible. That was crazy to see my camera just kind of dwindle out. Sorry about, we don't have connection problems all of a sudden. But anyway, yeah, warning customers they could lose everything. That's true. Yeah, we warned a few people, I think, a couple months ago about this whole thing. I'm not sure how people can't see BSV is the one, right? They're making it more and more scarce all the time. Make it harder to get. You know, glad you realize that. Great point. Boomer F and Sooner says, I wish they come out with anything about the JASMY lockup. Again, I'll try to get you some more information about that. You got to keep in mind it's their fourth quarter, not our fourth quarter. I think my connection all of a sudden fixed itself. But yeah, it's a common complaint, and I can't blame you, Boomer, in that regard. All right, let's see. Give me just a second. You also got Angel of God X. Hey, I was just you're asking about the whole hack thing. At the very beginning of the show, we addressed that. So when the show ends, you can always watch the very beginning replay, and later on, takes about 15 to 20 minutes roughly before YouTube kind of catches up with itself. You'll see chapters, right? And then you can see that as well. All right, Jack Thompson, what's up, Supermax and Motley Crue pillaging crypto pirates? I think I mentioned this earlier. I don't know. BTC goes down, it will take BSV with it. That was a beta test coin. That's a good point. But we'll see what happens with that. All right, HBAR, glad you guys like that so far. GG. Hey, Max, I used to play that Oregon Trail on the PC at school. Wow, we are vintage people. There you go. Yeah. I'm talking about the new one in regards to Oregon Trail on Steam. Maybe that's what you're referring to. There was, of course, Oregon Trail, but all right. Jack Thompson, on purpose and response, run through their very advanced computer systems. Their quantum financial system computers, right? Max on fire, XLM, now HBAR. I'm kind of moist. Well, careful with that, you know. All right, let's see here. Don't care about these cycles. I want utility. You just want the utility run all the way. Well, all right. All right, let's read this from Tim Shea. Angel will be fine. They're just playing games, trying to shake out retail. I think so. I agree with that. The Digital Pound Foundation, isn't that an adult organization? Oh my God. Well, we got a good laugh on that one, Tim. All right. God. All right, 808 Bear. SEC is not going to okay all ETFs because of ARC. Stop saying all ETFs will be approved in January, peoples. Never said that one single time. But I think you just have an expression. IOTA has the biggest gainer out of the ISO 222 bank cryptos. All right, let's see here. And you're into VChain. Well, welcome back, Maddie V. Maddie B, not Maddie V. You know, I think a while back you used to have an avatar, but anyway. Welcome back. And what else we got up in here? Tim Shea, Stefan, I have not looked into the Pi Network that much. He's popping up. You know, people mention the whole thing about Pi Network and so on. Yeah, that's a good point about people that mind it. Gerald, good night, Max. Great show as always. Good night, gang. Gang, gang. Who used to say that? He's part of our community. Gang, gang. What was it, Ahmed? We haven't seen Brother Ahmed in a while, right? Shout out to Ahmed. All right, let's see here. Viber Finance, 10 people I know had thousands in Pi, and they blocked KYC verification so they wouldn't withdraw anything. Stay away from that. Now, that sucks. It means it was a honeypot. That's crazy. All right, let's see here. Jack Thompson, what about Corium? If you get a chance, Max, Tim, Triple C, we covered Corium in the past, probably long before you joined up our community. We did a few videos on that and so on. All right, let's see here. Viber Finance, hell yeah. Corium airdrop coming January 19th. Pulsara for stakers, passive income. Interesting. And hey, look at that. There's Ahmed. That's cool. Well, good to see you, brother Ahmed. You know, I guess your ears are ringing with that one. He says, hello, everyone. Hi, Max. And yeah, gang, gang. All right. All right. That's good stuff. Well, you know what? I just feel as though it's like, I don't think I'm going to say, you know, it's like, it's like, you could be the first. Yeah, I could be the first, but you want to know something? I think that I'll say this still for tomorrow. I don't think a lot of guys are going to be mentioning it. And if they do, I don't know if they get into the real nitty gritty of what Quant Papa has anyway. So with that said, I hope you guys aren't disappointed, but I am going to wrap things up for tonight because I don't want to make every show like 2.5 hours, just to be honest. But tomorrow, stay tuned for that. It's not going to be super long. Like I'm looking at right now, there's 1, 2, 3 tabs, 4, and then of course my own conclusion. So yeah, it's not going to be really long anyway, but it's basically really bullish when it comes to quant. Just like Hedera, but different. It has to do with a real key patent. And of course, it has Gilbert Verdion's name on it. It's really big news. We'll say that one for tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow is Wednesday, the 10th. So look forward to it, okay? All right, no problem. That was on the old channel. Yeah, you would have to go there. You know, man. You have to listen to a guy go through the top 500 just for the hell of it, right? Anyway, sorry. Got to vent sometimes, right? But yeah, that's where it's at. It's not on this channel. So, all right. You guys have a great night. Jack Thompson says good night and shalom, everyone. And we do appreciate you guys. So, yeah. If you guys are also thinking about getting a new, whatchamacallit, hardware wallet, I do have some referral links. Some of you guys have been waiting for me to post that. The referral links, I think, unlike last time, yeah, they are posted into the channel. And this live show will get chopped up a little bit later. Still got to catch up from the ones from the previous day. But there is a JASMY one that's posted. I think it was posted about a couple hours before the show. Have that, have a look at it if you want. But we're going to catch up with BSV. There's another one we talked about the other night. And, of course, these. So we got a lot to catch up on. So, all right. Let's see here. We'll read the last bit of comments. Yes, thank you for being here. Viber Finance. Thanks as always. Looking forward to the quant content. Yeah, we'll see what the turnout we get tomorrow. It's really something. This might be, I don't know, in my top 5 best QNT coverages ever, to be honest. Thanks to Quant Papa. Okay. All right. $2 super chat from Elon Muff. Thank you so much. Good to see you. And how much for the wallet? So, you can click on the link and it will take you right to there and it will show you the prices. There is a discount from, being part of Maximus Crypto and so on. And there's even one, if you buy 2 of them, you get a little bit more of a discount. It tells you what it is and so on. So there you have it. Have a good one, you guys. I'll see you back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Please smash that like on your way out. You have a great night, everybody. Sayonara from the Rice Crop Consortium. Or Skull. All right. Bye-bye.